Hello, loves. Good morning, or whenever you see this, hello. I still have my morning voice, so good morning. um, I was led to share this message with you. It came to me yesterday, but I thought it was just for me. And the way that God is working in my life, I feel like nothing is for me, and I am absolutely okay with that. If I can share through my experiences and what I am learning along this journey with you all to empower you into wholeness, into fullness, into love, I'll give it all. I will give it all. Um, so, my best friend and I were texting yesterday, and I was giving her like a recap of the pop up and things like that. And she said something that we have been talking about, and she knows that's important to me. And she spoke life into me. She spoke life over me, and she does that quite often. And a lot of times I'm always overcome with emotions by her words and her actions. And it got me to thinking, I sat with it in that moment, and I must have like slept with it, and I woke up and I was journaling, and what came to me and I wanted to share with you is how important it is to have people in your life, people that we call friends, people that we call family, those so close to us, how important it is for them to speak life into you and speak life over you. And vice versa, right? So it's not always just a receive thing, but we also want to give it. But I'm thinking about those like specifically. I have experienced, and it's like this thing where like you're like, oh my goodness, you don't know that you're in something until you're kind of out of it, right? And I had some friends one time, and we met in a very, very specific and hard time in all of our lives, right? And we stayed friends. We had a lot of common, feelings. Um, Things were looking very much the same for us, right? And this was before I really understood that like attracts like, that the energy you're putting out, you are going to receive it back. This was before that. So, a few years ago, my life started shifting like in a major way. And as God would have it, they they removed themselves from my life. Well, one did. The other one, it kind of was like uh it was kind of like a tornado of feelings from that side. And I knew something was shifting within me because I was just so calm in both situations. The first one didn't end dramatically, but it did end in a way that I felt slighted. I felt like I wasn't valued. And then the other one was with all the dramas. And I was like, what is going on? And I was just so calm. And I knew then that there was something that was shifting inside of me, right? So this is my warm lime and apple cider vinegar water I have every morning. It's a ritual. Um, and what I knew once it like some time had passed and the initial feelings that I was feeling kind of settled was that our relationship was rooted in trauma. It was rooted in trauma. So what we had in common was trauma. What we talked about was how someone, we gossiped a lot about, you know, um, what other people were doing, what other people had going on. We really were in a space of trauma and lack. And when I recognized that I was no longer in that space, and it wasn't when I tell you it wasn't conscious, listen, when you begin to show up for yourself, it's really like that unconscious, that source, that your God is going to show up for you. And I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense, because a lot of times we don't do things until we think that we're ready, right? We don't leave these relationships. We don't, cut ties with friendships that are no longer serving us until we think that we have it all together and we're ready. And God is like, no, now is the time. Now is the time. I'm going to remove them. I'm going to allow these people to remove themselves from your life, because you are worthy of something more. You need this space in your life to attract what is aligned with you. I didn't even, okay. Okay. So that is what happened with me. I wasn't looking, like, I knew that the friendships weren't feeling good, but I didn't say, okay, it's time to end it, but God did it for me. And the way that God did it for me was God was positioning me into another situation that was allowing me to step back and to see things more clearly. And there was a lot of things that were happening in those two particular friendships that needed to end, right? Because they were no longer serving who I was becoming. And so it has me thinking about how I thought about that this morning, because those friendships were holding me in a particular space, right? They were not in abundance. I was not going to get to this next level had I stayed so deeply rooted in them. And honestly, the way that it ended, it wasn't even that. It was, it could be any type of relationship, which is also very interesting to me. And I'll go into that another time. But thinking about the people, I stand hard. I stand hard for my friends, okay, and my family. I mean, to me, it's not always about purchasing, right? It is about the support. It is about speaking life into someone, because oftentimes we can see in others what they are not believing for themselves. They can see it for themselves, but they aren't believing it for themselves yet, right? And so I know the power of that. I know the power of word of mouth. I know that this friend might not have something that I need right now, but I know someone who might. So let me share, right? And I just think that if we become more conscious and more aligned with who is in our lives, who is in our energy orbit, right? How do we feel with this person? How do we feel around them? Is it just an effortless, like my vibration is lifted higher, right? Or is it maybe it's here, maybe it's there? And here's the thing, right? Is that we have friends. Like, I'm not saying like me and my girlfriends, we don't get a good kiki. We do. But that energy shift, it's not draining. It's not toxic. It's not in lack. And I think that is what this message is coming to me. It's about our relationships being rooted. Are they in abundance, or are they in lack? And they are distinctly, powerfully different in how they show up in our lives and how they produce in our lives. And I really, really feel that. And so this is I'm sitting with this. I journaled with this morning, and that's why I wanted to share with you, or God was like, share it. Because think about the people in your lives. I want to say, take away the relationship, right? But I don't know if you can do that, because it's the relationship that you are with them, and you understand what role they play. But how does it make you feel? That's a wonderful place to start. How does this relationship, this interaction make me feel? Do I feel enlightened? Do I feel poured into? Or do I feel depleted? We're going to start there. We are going to start there. And it is the time. It's the time of elevation. It's the time of alignment with what is for you. And to be honest, sometimes you'll be alone. Sometimes you will be alone, but it won't be for long. It will not be for long. I promise you that. So, I hope that you receive this, that it makes sense. I know it's a bit long, but I was like, I was called to share, so that's what I'm doing. And I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I will be back. If you haven't check out more of my videos. And let's heal, let's move, let's lift and shift in abundance. So I love you, and I will see you later.